Today's video is how to create a listing template. So you should have already logged into your car site. You should have this dashboard open. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to templates and we're going to create new. Okay, so this is going to be a new listing. So I usually, again, I will just call this a listing. Okay, it's going to be for a residential property. We're automatically going to apply this to every type of listing that we're going to do. So we're going to hit save. Okay, and then it gives you back this blank form. So now we need to add what we need in there. So we're going to hit our All Forms button. You'll see right here, we need the cover sheet. Then we're going to go ahead and add the residential listing agreement. Now keep in mind this template, what we're going to do is we're going to be adding in all the forms that you're going to need to potentially take with you on a listing as far as all your disclosures. So it's actually really nice to be able to have it all in one package, and then you can just either print it or e-sign, whatever the case may be, but you kind of have an idea of what all you're going to need. Okay, so we're going to go in here, and things that we're going to add is our listing agreement. We're going to add our addendum number 1, which we'll be doing another class on writing addendums for your listings, how to protect yourself. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here. We're going to need our agent visual inspection, our AVID, so we'll click on that. Okay, we're going to need the FERPTA form, or it's called a seller affidavit, and it's not the easiest form to find, so we're going to do seller aff like that. See, it's really difficult to find. Let me just look in here, scroll down. There we go. So you're going to have 1, and I would go ahead and do 2, because if there's a couple, then you're going to need 1 for each person on that. So go ahead and include that as well. Okay. Now, if the home is before 1978, lead-based paint, so go ahead and add that just in case. You don't always need it. Next one, Market Condition Advisory, or MCA. Go ahead and click on that. You're going to need your Transfer Disclosure Statement, TDS. Then you're going to need your SPQ, which stands for your Seller Property Questionnaire. You're going to do your Water Conservatory, WCMD. Also going to want to add in here receipt for reports, because you're going to need that down the road. RFR, receipt for reports. Next one you're going to need is a buyer inspection waiver. Now this is something you're going to have to monitor, that if the agent representing the buyer doesn't do a home inspection or a pest inspection to protect yourself, you need to make sure to send this over to the buyer's agent, have the buyer sign that to protect yourself. Okay, so that's a BIW form. Okay, you might as well go ahead and add the response for a repair. So that form is called RRR, and that's seller's response and buyer's reply for request for repair. You're going to get from the buyer an RR, you're going to respond with like an RRR. Okay. The other thing you're going to want to put in here is a contingency removal, CR. Now, I would put in here, down here, you've got contingency number 1 for inspection, contingency number 2 for loan. You might even need 3 sometimes the way things go, but for now we'll just use 1 and 2 to put in there, but you know how to put it in there. The other thing I'm going to add is a notice of buyer to perform. Now on that form, I take 1 copy with me. I take that to the listing agreement. I have the seller sign that. Don't date it, because if you need it to send over because they're not releasing their inspections, then that's when you're going to want to use that. or again, you might need to use it to remind them that their loan approval or appraisal is due. So that's why I would go ahead and have that in there and have them sign it. Okay. Now you need to do some exterior forms for our company. So we're going to come out over here a little bit. I'm going to X out of this. Okay, now I'm going to go to add doc over here on the corner. We're going to browse for documents. And desktop. And we're going to be looking for some C21 disclosures. Scrolling through, tons of stuff. All right, here. Related business arrangement. Okay. Add another doc. Got our drought advisory. Add that. Okay, so now we have, those are the PDFs. So again, it's just ready to print and go. So there we go there. So now for your listing agreement, how to fill in a listing agreement on your template so that when you go to an appointment, it's already pre-filled with the majority of your information. So we're going to go in here to agent. We're going to type in Century 21, M&M, so there it is, Associates. BRE number 0118385 should be filled in. Then you're going to fill in yours. Now, of course, I have the drop down just because I've got it's memorized it. So when you get to the point going forward, it will also do the same thing for you. Okay, now I'm going to go hit save. Okay, now again, this is a template, so we don't have any names in here, so we're not going to check any of these boxes. Okay, residential listing agreement. Okay, this information clearly you're going to have to fill out at the time of the listing. But what we can check in here is the percentage. So we're going to ask for 6%. Obviously, that's negotiable. So you can put the 6 there. And you'll be having a conversation at the listing appointment if there's any other agents that could be involved, if they had it listed previously before. Is there any excluded buyers? That's what this information is going to be here. Okay. So now on D1, we're going to check this box. This is what's going to the other side. So we're going to put 2.5. That stays there. In here, again, if they listed the property, we want to make sure that they have officially canceled that listing agreement with somebody else. And again, here's the names of individuals that could be exempt from the contract. Items included and excluded. Got to remember to fill this out. If they're going to be selling a washer and dryer, refrigerator with the house, then obviously you're going to add that in. You're going to go over with your clients whether these are any leased items, especially if it's a solar system. If it's a solar system, some of the questions you're going to want to ask is what type of loan or, what lien could be on the property. If it's a PACE or a HERO program, unfortunately, those need to be paid off prior to the close of escrow. They are non-transferable. If you're using a lease, a company like Solar City, those are pretty easy to deal with. They are transferable. So again, just ask the questions. In here, if you're part of the Sacramento Metro list, if we're doing a listing in the area, then you're going to type Metro list. Okay, so leave that. If you're out of the area and you're, if you're going to be doing, say, a different county that's outside of Sacramento, then you need to fill out this information and this information. Okay. Listing. This is, again, the clause in here that just says we are letting our potential clients know that they should be putting the property on MLS and not do a pocket listing. Obviously, they might be able to have gotten more money for their home had they put it out on the open market, such as an MLS. Again, you're just filling this out and letting them know that you've explained that to them. And real important, make sure your seller's initial here, even if they are putting an MLS, they still have to initial. And you as the agent actually put your initials here. And then the seller will sign down here again as well. Okay, some of the questions on here might be if you've advised that they're going to have a pest report, then you're going to be checking this, okay? And it says that they agree within a certain time frame from this listing that they're going to get these items done. Okay, so that's what those are referring to. So we're scrolling down again, talking about photography. If it's going to be on the MLS, clearly it's going to be in with photos. Okay. Um, Now, you also, if a seller instructs that they don't want buyers coming in and taking photos of their home, that there needs to be a prior agreement, then you have to check these boxes. Here is where we talk about that they do not want a lockbox. So you would click that if they're not wanting a lockbox. If they do not want a for sale sign in front of the home, you need to check that as well. If these listings, typically, if you're doing a short sale on the house, or if there's a trust involved, you need to fill out this trust advisory. There's another CAR form for that, which is the TA form. And if you're having that, you will also need to add what's called the RCSD form, representative capacity. That's where you'll mark on there that it is in a trust, and the fact that the person can sign their regular name and not the whole trust name. So again, we can do a template on that as well. So you don't have to worry about remembering those forms. And again, mediation, arbitration. And here's just saying that the seller has a right to sell the property, transfer it, and there's no potential other people that could be on the title. And again, the representative capacity, here's again, if this is in a trust, you're going to be checking that box. Okay, so then they can sign their name here, Jane Doe, instead of the Jane Doe Family Trust dated 1956, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The seller, you don't necessarily need their address and phone numbers in here. It's not really that much of a requirement. So that's how you'll fill out the listing agreement, the seller advisory, pretty self-explanatory. One of the things you will need to do though, when you are writing a listing agreement, make another copy and take that with you, because you do have to give them a copy of what they signed. So go ahead and just bring a blank one with you. Even if you don't know what the listing amount's going to be, that's okay. They just need to have a copy of something that they signed. That concludes our listing template class. So I hope you found that informative.